Uncultivated Rabbits, UCI's one and only spoken word club, is entering its 10th year. They're a hotbed for creativity and talent and follow the mantra, "We breed art." I'm Nina Aghadjanian for Anteater TV, and today I caught up with 3 rabbits to talk about their Jackrabbit Slam poetry competition.
Gave me the greatest face, the brightest smile, the tallest dance when I arrive, cut holes in my head, get in my eyes. Each moment my face is torn from the back of my head and lost in the ancient fade, replaced by a formless mask reforming me to become me, resolving conjectures, contextualizing predictions. I'm never who I was. All I want is for the sightless giants before me to look down and not see the cowering child that I see in the collective of the past, reflected in every fading face. So I cast the line of the temporal river when I drew between points of constellations to catch the thrashing barbed wire ghosts. Let them continue their violent reverie, cast into oblivion, shrinking in a void.
And I'm with Max from Uncultivated Rabbits. Hi Max, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Great, thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about Temporal River, the poem, the first poem you recited at the competition last week?
Okay, it took me a while to write it. It's kind of really confusing, and I just let a metaphor I came up with go kind of crazy. I just let the metaphor go out of control. That's kind of how I write poems now.
And what was the inspiration behind that poem?
I'm not sure how it came to me, but I came up with a certain line one morning. The words, was it? I am a past self of a faceless conjecture came into my mind in kind of relation to me being a past self to a future self, and I don't know how the future self will be. And that sort of became an image in my mind, which I would draw out a couple of times. I just look at it and think, okay, how can I make this into words?
I run my fingers through the plague scratches on the river's walls, consult my heartstring lexicon, interpret the distant glow, elapsing translations. These wounds are guidelines, guiding lights glowing in eyes obscured by passing time. Predict the paths that would throw future to past and draw ghosts from their eyes if I let the chance elapse. Walk lines on maps projected from the regret of clouded eyes, so when my face falls away and new eyes possess the hole in my skull, no prison bars clutter their view of the sky.
The metaphor in my poem is about me listening to the advice of my past selves, so when my future self becomes who I am, I don't regret who I was in the past and who I am now.
I'm a 5-year-old Middle Eastern girl, Afghan American to be exact. Pink sidewalk chalk gripped tightly in my left hand, disfigured flowers on the asphalt, my works of art. Us kids reveling in our pudding packs, sharing seemingly relevant yet literally irrelevant things. Susie's pigtails, CJ's new overalls. The bell rings. Recess is over. The day goes by like any other. How to read the analog clock, connecting letters in cursive, and having my fruit roll-up stolen by the girl in the corner. 3 o'clock. Mom Dad is here. She was once a Middle Eastern girl, now a Middle Eastern woman, a wife, a mother, a mother. Baba works long hours. Our culture has taught him what it means to be a man, how to be a husband, a baba, a father. This point A to point B, this simplicity is all I know. What's expected of a 5-year-old? To understand death and destruction? To witness souls plummeting in their final seconds of life, lungs clouded with dark ash, beating heart silence, all within the confines of a television screen.
So tell me a little bit about what inspired you to join the Uncultivated Rabbits.
So this is my first semester, my first quarter year, because I'm a transfer. And I submitted work for the art lab in November, I think, or earlier, not November, October. And when I went, I saw some of the Uncultivated Rabbits perform, and they were incredible.
There's no way in hell simple genetics can ever account for the way your soul refuses to stop shining from behind your eyelids. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I think you're beautiful.
Alcoholism is a family heirloom we have passed down in shame, one my father never wanted to share with his children, in hopes his sons would never realize our fingers were crafted to curl perfectly around a 12-ounce bottle, lips familiar with the burn of poison and a liver that craves it.
I'm just trying to get home without being bothered on public transportation. I don't care that you're into Asian women. You are not getting into me. I do not.
So I talked to Emily, and she said, you should come to the meetings, come on Monday, I want to see you there. So I went, and then it just went from there. Like, I saw everyone perform, and then I saw the first open mic, and I was like, this is incredible. Images I'd never seen, headlines that don't cross lips on the playground, terrorists. Assumption by association, death, smoke, and airplanes. But Baba, my Baba, he builds planes. Fighter jets, Lockheed, what does that make him? Just Wawa to me, but different to society. Mohammed, a man with a beard, a skill 33 years in the making, a religion, and a name no more uncommon than mine or yours, all now tainted through no fault of his own, now just a profile. And suddenly, us Afghans are all the same, as if we've been cast in a mold of hatred. According to voices in the halls, I am a terrorist, whatever that means exactly.
Can you go into a little bit about what incident influenced you to write that first poem? I sensed a lot of anger and
I guess.
resentment.
I mean, at the time when all that happened in my life, I was very young, so it wasn't something that I could understand. And so as I got older, I kind of pieced everything together because I was 5. And I referenced that in the poem. I explained that I'm 5 at the time. So it was really confusing to see, like, there's a whole whirlwind of stuff happening in society and, like, all this stuff is going on. And so, yeah, I think as I got older, I developed kind of an anger, but I was able to articulate it well through the poem so that it wasn't, like, bad, I guess. I worded it well, I think.
No, totally.
So, I mean, I worded it appropriately, of course, to be spoken in front of people, so, yeah.
Since when did the unwritten page, soft like paper clouds, and limitless liberation in their weightless swaying fall, roll rancid down my throat, reek while I hold my breath, and harden into a wall I crash against. A wall with skin clinging to bones and lips that tantalize me with escape. It looks a lot like someone I once loved.
I'm here with Roya. Hi, Roya. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
So, your first poem at the competition was about writer's block.
Yes.
You told the audience that.
Yes.
Now, were you experiencing writer's block as you wrote that poem?
Yeah. I sat down to write, and I had thought of many different things that I had been wanting to write about that day, and absolutely nothing was coming, and I just kept trying to push through, and I just really hated every single thing I wrote about, and I just kind of started writing about writer's block because that seemed to be the most prominent thing on my mind, because I was convincing myself that that was what was happening. And then interestingly, after I did that, after I wrote about it, I was able to actually start writing again. It was kind of like getting all that out, and then I was free.
What is your experience with writing? Do you do a lot of poetry writing, or what other kinds of writing? What other forms of writing do you do?
I also write stories. I write fiction as well. I've written some screenplays for short films. So I've dabbled in all kinds of writing all my life pretty much. But poetry is sort of a newer thing for me.
It is.
Yeah, I started writing poetry maybe when I was about like 18 or 19. And I started going to school and really taking school seriously. I was not a very good student in high school. So I was just actually learning how to be a student. And then poetry was sort of a way for me to really write passionately and write about really big things in a lot shorter of amount of time. And I was able to sort of fit poetry in between all that stuff, whereas stories kind of would consume me for long periods of time.
You wonder where he even came from. They say he's too old for you, they say he's too young for you. You should have met someone your own age. The whole world has sauntered through him like a million ghosts. He's a child of ice, of winters that silenced oceans like a punch in the jaw, while the sun left kisses on your cheeks every morning. He's got poison lingering in his stomach, and he barely had a sip of it. Where did he come from? He was never supposed to turn around that day and look at you. You were never supposed to let him watch. There were endless levels of patterns that you should have followed, intricately designed to keep you steady, but you didn't. You let him crash through your roof and set fire to your home, a meteor sizzling in colors you never even knew existed. You let him etch snowflake-shaped scars along your neck where he touched you with lightning-bolt fingers. You decided to get to know that all you had ever known there was to know. And no one ever told you what it would be like to live without it.
Now, tell me a little bit about your second poem. I sensed heartbreak,
yes.
Kind of. Who, if you don't mind me asking, was that about?
So my ex, from over the summer. Very intense, short-lived relationship. Very, very intense.
Summer romance.
Yes, a whirlwind romance, basically. And he's not from this country. He's from Sweden. So we kind of went into it knowing that there was a foreseeable end, but we didn't really hold back anyway. And then the day came that he actually had to leave, and that feeling of not knowing if I was ever going to see him again actually was kind of driving me crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was basically like distance that kind of ruined it.
Now, when you were reciting that spoken word, what were you feeling? Was that like a form of release for you?
There definitely was a release. There was, actually. Especially because so many of the people, so many of my friends were in the audience, and I knew so much about the relationship anyway.
Oh.
And so I knew that so many of the, and I you know, people have been through heartbreak, so I knew a lot of people would probably, you know, definitely connect to it.
Yeah.
I think that was what was so healing about it, was actually having people, I could hear them in the audience while I was doing it, reacting to it, and just being like, oh, I felt that, you know, I've been through that, and that's probably the most healing thing, that I'm not alone in feeling this way.
And now, congrats, you came in second, and how does that feel?
It feels good. I seriously didn't expect winning at all. I had no idea how that was even going to work, but it was really like fun winning for my poem.
Yeah.
It was a really awesome feeling, and it was like such an honor performing in front of so many other awesome poets that I know, and I'm so proud of Christina, who won first place. She's amazing, and yeah, it was really awesome to win with her. It was an honor to win with her. I promise that you won't remember who let go first, but you won't forget the whispers in your head rolling over and over themselves while the car turns around a corner and he disappears at last. You can't stop asking yourself, will I ever see him again?